Portland will be the 18th team in Major League Soccer.
It's the City of Portland's championship.
It is great to be home.
Sports Sunday with Orlando Sanchez.
Let's go. What's good, everyone? This is Sports Sunday. My name is Orlando Sanchez, and thanks to a work order, I'm wearing pants for the second week in a row. And our Art Edwards is in the socially distant studio. Art, are you ready to go, man?
Man, I'm ready to go, and glad to know you're wearing pants.
2 for 2, baby. And the key card worked in the KGW studio, so we are good to go, Art. Tonight, it was not a good day to be an ACL or any other joint of a football player. Saquon leads a busy injury list, plus some debate over MVP in the NBA. LeBron isn't happy, and D-Day fast approaching for the Pac-12 Conference. What does Larry Scott and company have to think about over the next week? We'll tackle all of that. There were lots of Justin Herbert haters this offseason. Critics questioned his leadership. Someone even said he could be one of the biggest mistakes of the draft. The Los Angeles Chargers picked him 6th overall and wasn't expected to play for a while until today happened. Tyrod Taylor suffered a rib injury during warm-up, so just minutes before kickoff against the Chiefs, and the Oregon Duck was told he would be making his first NFL start. Welcome to the league, his first NFL touchdown. All right, he wasn't done yet either. Second quarter we go, and it's Herbert again. This time he's using his arm. This is just a perfect pass to Jalen Guyton. Herbert threw for 311 yards, becomes the first player since 1954 to run and throw for a touchdown in the first half of his NFL debut. The Chargers were up 17-6 against the reigning Super Bowl champs. Herbert also threw an interception in the third quarter. And Kansas City did just enough to get this game to overtime and win it on a 58-yard field goal. Chiefs get the W 23-20. Here's Herbert on what it was like to get out there for the first time.
I was really excited. That's one of those moments that I've waited for my entire life, and to be out there, to be on the field going against the Kansas City Chiefs and playing alongside some of these guys on offense, it was really special, and it's a moment that I'll never forget.
You heard from the man, Art. What do you think about his performance? Is he now the guy moving forward for the Chargers?
Well, if it was me running the show there for the Chargers, I would say yes. You know what? I thought it was great what he did today. He didn't seem like he was really bothered by the surroundings or the circumstance or anything like that. But you know what? I heard Anthony Lynn say, Tyrod Taylor is my starter as long as he's healthy.
And as you know, Herbert always plays this thing professionally. He's been doing it as long as we've been interviewing him at Oregon. And even he's saying he doesn't know what to expect next week, but he's going to go out there, work hard, and be prepared. And clearly, he was ready to do so. Because if you think about it, he had no idea that he was going to be out there. And most people around him didn't know either. Right. And still be able to have a strong start like that says a lot about him, right?
It really does. The coach thought, he said he thought the coach was joking with him when he told him he was going to be starting. He found out, 5-6 seconds before kickoff. But I thought he handled it great. It's a super start for him. And you know what? Tyrod Taylor lost a job in Cleveland when he got injured, and Baker Mayfield took over. Could happen again there for the Chargers.
Yeah, solid start for Herbert. Let's see what he does next week and builds upon. All right, Art, we got to talk about this. This was crazy. The Seattle Seahawks in primetime right here on KGW, playing host to the Patriots. No fans allowed at CenturyLink Field for this one. And this is not what the Seahawks had in mind. Russell Wilson's pass intercepted. Devin McCourty, 43-yard pick six. Oh, but Russ, he was cooking. And this is just a dime to DK Metcalf. 54-yard hookup. And you got to see the accuracy on this replay. Oh, my goodness. And that may not have been his best one. Third quarter. This time, Wilson to David Moore. Ridiculous. Somehow, someway, Moore makes the grab, gets both feet down. Best deep ball thrower in the league, right? But Cam Newton willing the Patriots and making this thing a game. finds the end zone. Things getting close here. Newton, 397 yards, threw for a touchdown. They go for it. As time expires, a chance to win it, and the Seahawks defense steps up. Coming through in crunch time as the clock expires, Seattle does it. Defeats New England 35-30. Seahawks are now 2-0. Art, your thoughts on the performance of Russell Wilson and also the Seahawks defense coming through in crunch time?
Well, Russell Wilson, tremendous once again in this game. It really feels like they're starting to turn him loose, which is a whole lot of fun to watch. And you know what? I didn't know that's how the game ended because I was working on other stuff getting ready for the show. I did not realize that. Tremendous work by the Seahawks defense.
Yeah, the Patriots did not go away, but we're watching video here of Russell Wilson, who was just sensational today. He had 5 touchdown passes to 5 different receivers, really putting on a clinic. And if they had an MVP award through the first 2 games of the season, it's between him and Aaron Rodgers. Art, your thoughts on what Russell Wilson has been able to do so far early on in this season?
Well, I think it's amazing. I think, maybe the difference that we're seeing this year is that maybe they're letting him loose just a little bit because we see him do these kinds of things at the end of games a lot. And they, he has to pull it out of the fire for the Seahawks. But now it just seems like right from the very beginning of the game, he's just on fire and doing unbelievable stuff.
And he was able to do this against the Patriots defense, who last year was the top-ranked defense in the NFL. Impressive start. Let's see what the Seahawks can do against the Cowboys next week. And speaking of the Cowboys, we have to talk about that because it's time for Hyundai to take us around the NFL. Some of the most interesting games of the day. Sorry we couldn't get to all of them, but our producer is a Falcons fan. And look what he did to Coach Dan Quinn. Oh, come on, Craig. Well, here's why. Remember when they blew that 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl? Well, the Falcons did something similar against the Cowboys. Atlanta scored early and often, jumped out to a 20-0 first quarter lead. They were up 12 in the fourth quarter, and that's when it all went down. Dak Prescott, 1-yard run to pull the Cowboys to within 2. Then less than 2 minutes left, Cowboys go with the onside kick, and it's rolling around like, what are the Falcons doing here? Yes, the Cowboys recover, and you know how this thing ends. Greg Zuerlein kicks a 49-yard field goal as time expires to win this game. Final count, 40-39. The Falcons finding another way to blow a giant lead. What a mess.
Oh, man. A mess is right. No doubt about it. Hey, we're going to travel from the Lone Star State to the Music City for our next matchup. The Titans hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Titans look like the real deal right now. Ryan Tannehill with that strike to Jonnu Smith to give the Titans the early lead in this ballgame. But you know what? The Jags fought back. The Titans look like they might run away with it. But you know what? Tannehill does it again. He got nailed on that play and still tossed the touchdown pass. Titans up 30-17, but you know what? It's Gardner Minshew time.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Back.
Yes.
You better believe it. Scoring pass to Chris Thompson. That tied the game at 30. But you know what? For the second game in a row, Steven Gostkowski, the kicker, he comes through with the game-winning kick. Titans beat the Jags 33-30.
Oh, man. We didn't get a shot of Minshew's amazing hair, but I digress. We head down to the desert. Arizona Cardinals hosting the Washington Redacted. I mean, come on. Really? A battle of second-year quarterbacks in the highlights. Doesn't look like the Cardinals' Kyler Murray knows anything about a sophomore slump. I mean, Murray, he threw for 286 yards, a touchdown. He also ran for 2 more scores. Washington didn't score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. Dwayne Haskins, 223 yards and a score, but Murray and the Cardinals just too much for them. They get the W 30-15.
We're going to move on to Houston now. The Texans and a matchup of the league's 2 most exciting quarterbacks, quite possibly. Texans hosting the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, he comes up big again. Guy does it every week. Touchdown pass early for the Ravens. Baltimore really kind of dominated this one. They are going to get a defensive touchdown along the way as well. L.J. Fort, he picked up the fumble after the pass reception and runs it in for the score. They just roll past the Texans 33-16. It is Baltimore's 14th straight win in the regular season. Longest streak in the NFL. since Carolina won 18 in a row in the regular season in 2014, 2015.
Oh, they make it look so easy. That scoop and score, man.
Yes.
Okay, one of the biggest stories in the NFL today, injuries. Several big-name players, they went out with serious injuries. It was a really bad day, Art, for your 49ers. You know already.
Yes.
Without George Kittle, Richard Sherman, and today they lost Nick Bosa to a knee injury. It could be a torn ACL. Jimmy Garoppolo, he missed the second half with a high ankle sprain. His status for next week is unknown. The Giants lost star running back Saquon Barkley. They think it's going to be a torn ACL. And the Denver Broncos lost starting quarterback Drew Lock to a shoulder injury. He's scheduled for an MRI. And also the Panthers' Christian McCaffrey, he'll have an MRI tomorrow to determine the severity of his ankle injury. This is just a bummer, Art. I hate stories like this.
It's horrible. I don't remember seeing a week like this where we have so many big-name guys, go down. And the 49ers lost a couple of other guys as well. Mostert didn't play in the second half, and it looks like Solomon Thomas tore his ACL as well. So their defensive line is decimated. But all those other teams losing guys, and even people who aren't the marquee players going out. Just unbelievable this week.
I immediately wonder, Art, how much no training camp or no preseason, shortened training camp, how all of that played into seeing so many injuries across the board already.
Yeah, you wonder a little bit. I was watching the 49ers game, and when I saw those injuries, I don't think that had much to do with it because these were guys who got rolled up. They got bent backwards, and that's kind of how it happened. Some of the other ones, I think probably kind of the same sort of thing. So I'm not sure that not having as much practice time really played, a big part in this.
Get well soon to all those players. My goodness. Okay, Art, it is time now to take a look at our heroes and zeros of the day. It's one of your favorite parts of the show. The players who had good games and maybe the ones that had not so good games. Let's start with the good. The Bills' Josh Allen, our first hero, and he went off. Third-year pro, threw for 417 yards, 4 touchdowns, both personal bests. And the Buffalo Bills beat AFC East rival Miami for the 4th consecutive time, 31-28. Allen, the first Buffalo quarterback to have consecutive 300-yard games since Drew Bledsoe in 2002.
Wow. Hey, our next hero is the Green Bay Packers running back Aaron Jones. Jones had a monster day. He rushed for a career-high 168 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, including a 75-yard run, and then he did the Lambeau Leap. The Packers rallied from an 11-point deficit to beat the Lions 42-21. You got to love that Lambeau Leap with nobody out there. Do you like that, Orlando?
You know what? I'm all right. You got to continue the tradition. It's a bummer, but I'm really upset that I didn't pick up Jones on my fantasy football team because the man is doing work. The Packers are a problem right now. We mentioned Aaron Rodgers, a potential NFL MVP. Oh no. You know what this is, right? The one player who stood above the rest in the zero category. Minnesota quarterback Kirk Cousins. He had a 0.0 passer rating late into the third quarter. That's not good, right?
Not good.
Cousins finished with 11 of 26, 113 yards, 3 interceptions. He was also tackled in the end zone for a safety for the 2nd straight week. And the Vikings lost to the Colts 28-11.
Hey, at least he raised his quarterback rating throughout the game. He got it up to 15.6 by the end.
Art, that is a beautiful way to find a silver lining in a very bad game. All right, still to come. Will they play in the Pac-12? That's the debate raging right now. With a decision likely coming this week, what's at stake? And if you've been watching football all day, you've got to see the finish between the Lakers and Nuggets in the bubble. Oh my goodness, raise that eyebrow. We'll see you on the other side.
Jokic trying to disrupt Rondo. He puts it in. Here's Davis, 4-3 in the win. Oh, it's good! Anthony Davis has won it for the Lakers!
Wow, as you heard, that was Anthony Davis with the 3-pointer at the buzzer to win the game for the Los Angeles Lakers, his playoff game over the Denver Nuggets. Final score 105-103. Davis scored the Lakers' last 10 points of the game, finished the game with 31. You know what? It's the first playoff buzzer beater win for the Lakers since 2010. They now have a 2-0 series lead.
My goodness, Art. I feel for the Nuggets. I wonder how much that stings moving forward for them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's also award season in the NBA, and the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the league's most valuable player for the second straight season. Giannis led the Bucks to the best regular season record. He averaged nearly 30 points, 14 boards a game. He was also the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. On the other hand, LeBron James finished second in the MVP voting by the media. But Giannis received 85 of the 101 first-place votes, and that didn't sit well with LeBron.
Look at this.
Pissed me off. That's my true answer. It pissed me off because out of 101 votes, I got 16 first-place votes. That's what pissed me off more than anything. You know, not saying that, the winner wasn't deserving of the MVP.
Strong words from LeBron. Art, you agree?
Yeah, I don't. 16 votes, that's not very many. I thought he would have gotten more than that. Still think Giannis was the MVP, though.
I'm with you on that one, Art, but you love to hear the league's top stars voicing their opinion on this stuff, and maybe it'll help with voting moving forward as well.
Maybe.
All right, one big question this week. Will the Pac-12 play football? We're expecting an answer to that on Thursday. The conference presidents have a meeting scheduled to decide whether or not they will play in 2020. Commissioner Larry Scott called it promising. Multiple reports say the conference is likely to vote yes. The Ducks and Beavers, they've been given the green light to practice from the governor and local health authorities. The hope is for the Pac-12 to start the season early enough to be part of the larger college football season and be in the mix for the college football playoff if one of these teams is good enough. So, Art, what do you think about the Pac-12 getting back to football?
Well, I would love to see there be football for the Pac-12. You know, my question is, are they going to be able to do this and do it safely for the student athletes? That's got to be the priority. They say it is, and I hope that it is.
I hope you're right, too, and that they're looking out for the safety and well-being of the players as well. We got more coming up on the other side.
Edmond there, but it went by him. Hold on back now for Alexiak, and that one missed up. Rebound! He scores! Alexiak, the big defenseman, breaks the tie.
All right, there it was. The Dallas Stars' Jamie Alexiak scored the goal that put the Dallas Stars up for good in the first game of the Stanley Cup Finals. He did it off his own rebound. Stars went on to win that game 4-1. The final tomorrow will be Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
That man is a beast, Art.
Yes.
All right, back in July, the Portland Thorns were knocked out of the bubble. No one knew if they would play again in 2020. The National Women's Soccer League put together a fall series, and the Thorns got to play their first home match of the year today. So we roll to Providence Park, Thorns playing host to the Utah Royals FC, and this is as good as it gets. Simone Charlie, have some, making defenders miss. Play of the week status to give the Thorns a 1-0 advantage. And this was also a big day for the #1 draft pick. I'm talking about Sophia Smith. Making her debut, it only took her 3 minutes to score her first goal as a Thorn. Portland wins 3-0. The rookie on the mic.
My first goal when I was young, I don't remember it, but I'm sure I was very excited, but this is another level. I mean, I was just talking to some of my teammates, and it was to the point where I don't even remember what happened. I was so excited. But just being able to celebrate with my teammates was just surreal.
They're back at Providence Park September 30th against OL Reign. We'll be right back. All right, Art, it's time to call it a night. Fred Meyer, plays of the week.
Already it's go time. Lights, camera, action, showtime. The heart of a champion, my opponents hate it. The throne is
Here's Tatum, runs, and throws it down.
Play action, Lawrence down the seam. Wants Rogers, touchdown.
Charlie just goes for it. She takes on one player, she takes on the second player, and she's like, no, I'm going to do this all myself.
Back now for Alexia.